Hey guys, Shalana here. Welcome to the Bin Zone. On today's video, we're looking at the Netflix original movie, Choose or Die. And when I first saw the trailer and I started watching this movie, I'm thinking this is about to be a B-tier trash horror movie, kind of like Truth or Dare, Hide and Seek, Tag, Escape Room, those type of genre of horror movie. Pure trash, but no. This movie is a deep dive into a social critique about our reality, humankind, as well as technology, and just how far humanity is losing itself or altering our reality for the sake of technology. I'm gonna need a drink for this. No, because seriously, this movie is really a deep dive, and there's so many different layers and meanings underneath just the premise. The overall premise of the movie is simple. There's a 1980s text-based game that's cursed. It's called Cursed. I kind of like the wordplay in the title, but overall, it's a straightforward thing. So the movie starts off and you have this family. You got this guy, his wife, and his kid, his son. And the movie starts off with the son and the mom talking, and the son is essentially saying how trash his dad is. His dad's a loser. He's stuck in the 80s. So he overhears all this and has essentially his family hates him. His wife thinks he's a loser. His son thinks he's a loser. And essentially his only escape is his games. So in his man cave, he finds this game and he starts to play it. And some cool shit starts happening where a game from the 80s, a text-based kind of RPG where you choose paths, is actually affecting reality. And at first it's cool until it starts asking him other questions and it starts affecting his family. And now we start to see the ramifications of this game. And now he's stuck. He's in this dark room. And now the game tells him, do you want to stop? The only way to stop is to mass produce this game and send it out. So essentially spread the curse. And what does he do? Of course, mass produces it and sends it off. So now that the movie starts and we introduce to Kayla. Kayla's the main protagonist. She finds the game. Her and her friend Isaac kind of restore the game because Isaac is a video game designer who lives in his own sort of cave, and he's a recluse gamer who's obsessed with the 80s. And now we're starting to see themes here. This guy's obsessed with the 80s, and now essentially the movie goes on, and as the movie dives deeper, we start to see truly what this movie is about. It's not the surface level horror that I was talking about earlier. That whole Kayla, Isaac, the guy in the room, that game plot is there, but it's kind of flat. But when we start to peel deeper beyond that, we start to look at the movie itself, and the movie takes a lot of inspiration from The Matrix. And what do we know about The Matrix? The Matrix itself is a story about what if the reality we think we're living is a simulation. Ultimately, the reality that we're living here now, all of it's fake. We're inside of a computer and we're so deep into the future that we've replaced reality with simulations. And that begs the question, what is reality? Ooh, strong. I have to drink that, because for us to get into that, we have to actually think about what that means, reality. What's real, what's not. Obviously, we think things are real. This drink right here, matter, is real, but is it? It's only real because we perceive it. Whew, and it's strong. But it's only because of our perception. You guys perceive me to tap it. I feel like I'm tapping it. I'm gonna take another one, but it tastes strong. I perceive it to be strong, therefore it's real. It's tangible. But what if it's not there? What if I'm plugged into the Matrix and I am actually in a pod somewhere and my mind thinks it's real, so therefore it kind of is? So is it real or is it not? That's where the idea of perception is reality comes from. What happens if we are but one reality? What if there exists a multiverse of realities? There's like an infinite possibilities of who I am. This movie, as it's going on, I'm thinking of this movie like, this game concept makes no sense. This is a 1980s text-based game, and in the movie we find out that this is an ancient curse that they took and they transcribed into the game in the 80s, and now in 2022, Kayla has taken that 1980s game and she's transferred it to her phone, and we see the curse itself following humanity as we evolve and as our technological advances go up. Ancient times, caves, paintings, trees, we carved our symbols in rock, we carved our symbols in dirt, we carved our symbols in trees. That's how we passed on information. But as technology grew, we got pen, we got paper, we started using computers, and now we're using cell phones to actually advance us as a civilization. But now the curse also follows. So is the curse real? Because a lot of old curses and a lot of old superstition we perceive to just be superstitions of the past. Because back then they were more primitive, things started happening, and boom, you can't explain it, it's a curse. But now that we're in a new age and we're in a new reality per se, because I can't imagine living among the Neanderthals. I can't even imagine or perceive how the earth looked back then. So was the earth in the past real, or was there a variation of the earth? And the movie itself actually plays with that idea, because Isaac, Kayla's best friend, is designing a game, and one of the main characters in that game looks like Kayla. And looking like Kayla, he says she's a hero in his game. She's a superhero. And ultimately, this movie is the story of Kayla and her hero's journey. Tragic past, tragic backstory. She overcomes, and at the end, she's a superhero with the ability to alter reality and make things just, and actually make the people who deserve to pay for things pay for them, like karma, essentially. So, what if this entire thing is just a game? Because there also exists various scenes in the movie, like when they're going upstate to find out the cause of this game or the origin of the game. The movie actually flips from regular movie to some old 80s cartridge 8-bit graphics, and it's like almost as though we're in a game, or they're in a game, and we're following the story of the game. Because at the end, when Kayla wins and she becomes this powerhouse, she gets a call. And the call is from the owner or CEO or whatever of Kismet, the company she works for. And Kismet itself is a word that means destiny or fate or the will of God or the will of the creator. And now we're getting somewhere. So let's go back to our comparison of the Matrix. Because if there is a God and there is a creator and there is Kismet, how can this reality exist? Or how can there be multiple realities, and is there multiple gods, multiple Kismets? Is Kismet a thing? How can there be Kismet if fate is predetermined by the designs of whoever created this game or the Matrix? And that was one of the central themes of the movie The Matrix, and that's also one of the central themes of this movie. We even have the homage to the red pill, blue pill, in which Neo has to choose his reality. Does he take the blue pill, go to sleep, wake up, and he's back to normal? Or does he take the red pill, pull out the Matrix, and face a new reality? And that question was served to Kayla and Isaac. Do they go through the red door or blue door? And they chose initially the blue door because, of course, it's the safest. Let's end this. They've seen the Matrix. You've seen the Matrix. I've seen the Matrix. You have seen the Matrix, right? But then, before they get through the door, they start hearing death coming out. The word death, someone whispering death and dying beyond that door. So it kind of persuades them to the red door. So that begs the question, do we actually have a choice? Is reality real? Is free will itself something that is real? Because had that voice not happened, they would have went through that blue door. But because that happened, it forced them to the red door, where Kayla had to face some uncomfortable truths about herself, and she had to gain the valuable experience, kind of like a video game, in which she learns that she is partially to blame for her brother's death, even though turning your head around for a second, your brother drowning, is completely not her fault. But then that's part of her character progression. That's part of the story. That's part of the game. You guys see where I'm going with this here? Ultimately, this movie posits itself as a horror movie, but it's a critique on our reality. Because now, exiting from the movie and exiting from the Matrix, if we take a look around and look at our reality, we are now more integrated with technology than we've ever been, and we're looking to dive deeper into that with the metaverse, with people getting chips implanted in themselves, with Apple and their Apple Health and how invasive those things get. We are actually changing our own realities. In the metaverse, you can create your own avatar, be whoever you want to be on social media. You can present yourself as whoever you want to be. So now our reality is shifting. Our reality is going deeper into Matrix-like territory, in which what's real and what's not. Is this really a cup? Am I really here? Am I really human? What does it mean to be human? All those questions are posited because ultimately we don't know. We don't know. Shifting gears a little bit, another thing this movie really tackles is the character of the main guy who started making the games, like the first guy, the loser guy, right? And how his family felt about him, and how he felt about himself, and how ultimately he said to Kayla that why don't guys like him ever get to be the hero? The movie presents him as some kind of incel like guy who stays in his computer room, his man cave, his family hates him. His wife probably only got with him because he's some super successful guy. We saw his house. So therefore, he himself doesn't have the genetic disposition, the handsomeness that people would find attractive. And that's kind of one of the rhetorics that incels use, in which they kind of borrow from the Matrix as well. With the Matrix, we have red pill, blue pill, but they posit there is a black pill. And the black pill is coming to the harsh realization that you are genetically predetermined to be an incel, and you have no choice about it. You can't do anything about it. Your jawline's different. Your posture's just terrible. Everything, like genetically, you're genetically not handsome or not beautiful at all. And you're genetically not attractive to the opposite gender. So now it begs the question, why was his door so dark? And then we flip to Isaac's character, who is attracted to Kayla, and he wants to get with Kayla. Like, he wants to get with her. But Kayla doesn't see him that way. She's not really attracted to him. He kind of has the same tendencies as the first guy, where he's in his room, on his game, super focused. And it begs the question, ultimately at the end, when Isaac dies, and it's Kayla versus Buddy at the end, and it's a final boss battle. And we start to see his own family turn against him, and we see the harsh treatment he feels that he has to dish out to his own family, and as well the rest of the world, had he became the winner and he got this power. You can see how this movie is a critique on that, and that mentality that you're owed something. And it kind of plays into it, choosing game programmers, super nerds, and kind of digging into that, right? But it's still a cautionary tale as to look at what we're here, look at what you're doing, look at what this choice of black pill is doing to you, because ultimately that is a reality you chose as well, the black pill, because there were other ones. You felt like that one made the most sense to you, so ultimately you shaped your own reality. This movie again is really a deep dive into reality and perception of reality, and how reality itself can be whatever we choose, whatever you choose reality to be. Because at the end, Kayla won. Her mom is okay. Out of nowhere, her mom miraculously made a comeback and stopped being a drug addict. Lance got his just desserts at the end for being a perv. And now she has the power to go out and actually enact her form of justice. But then who is she to have that power and deserve what's right and what's wrong? Because obviously she doesn't make the right choices. She didn't finish school. We see her life. But then again, that's just my perspective, because this movie also is a critique about society. She herself, Kayla, is a racially ambiguous girl. Let's say she's black for the most part, right? And she dropped out of school to help her mom. Her mom is a drug addict. Let's not get into that and what that represents. But Isaac, who's programming his own game, is saying how good she is at programming, and she keeps getting rejected at different jobs. But she has the skills, she has the ability, but the system is against her because she doesn't play by the rules of the system. She didn't go to school. Look at her circumstances. Look where she comes from. Look how she looks. Again, minority woman. This movie itself is a critique on our reality. I can't harp that enough. But ultimately, we see at the end that she is the hero. She is a good guy. She knows what she's doing, and she's kind of bucking the system, kind of bucking reality. And ultimately, can we even buck reality? I know she did in the movie, but what if it's a matrix? What if we're all living in a simulation and ultimately none of this matters? Would you still decide to fight against reality, or would you go with it? That's the question that left me when I finished watching this movie. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section below, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I'm about to finish this and edit this video. Until next time, binge on.